Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me? Can all of you are here? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Was running a little late today. Just needed to get a glass of water. That's all. Took a lot of time. But you look all fresh, as if you never did any demo. First of all, I want to thank all of the people in the cohort who joined for giving such an awesome presentations today. We went through the PRDs that we completed in the course. We just finished our first cohort. Uh, it's a journey, but we finished one milestone of that journey, and I was just amazed by how much work people are able to put and what kind of conversation we can have with them now, of what conversations we I could have before, and what conversations we can have. The depth of those conversations, people were talking guardrails naturally, talking about multi-agent framework, and talking about how uh, AI Act help the healthcare industry or not. Those are the kind of discussions I'm so proud of, or I think you should be so proud of. With that, I want to start today's session. But before I start, Shilan has few things to talk about, and after that, we will quickly get started. So, Shilan, all yours.
Yeah. So, well, everyone, first of all, hello from San Francisco. And I was in the PLD demo session, just like I love seeing like how you guys have like the confidence you have built over the 4 weeks. And this is the keys to get job, like building that confidence.
Get started. So, Shilan, all yours.
Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, all right. So hello from San Francisco here, and I just wanted to just take a moment to congratulate cohort one. I was in the demo session this morning, and I just wanted to say that it's amazing to see the confidence you have built over these 4 weeks, and this is the thing that is gonna get you the job, the confidence you build. And also want to take a moment to congratulate one of our cohort members, DBO, for getting job. So I want to give him a quick round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. And also we opened the second cohort a few days ago. We already start having applications rolling in. I see some new people here. If you want to apply, go ahead and apply. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me or like Hamesh. But usually probably you will catch me more. Right. So yeah, with that, I'll just pass the ball back to like Hamesh, because we have a lot of content today.
Yeah, so I think today we're going to talk about what's there. How can you get ready? How can you position yourself in Gen AI ecosystem? What are the top players across three main layers? So, and what are they looking for? And what does it mean for you? Like, how can you get started, or where for you to play? I won't be able to do it for each one of you, but at least I will put like what problems they are solving, because end of the day, people hire for the problems they have. Either they can't solve them on their own, or they can't solve them on their own enough. So just, can you all hear me, right? Amin entered. I'm just going to admit people, and we just, this is the only community session I think that starts within like 5 minutes of its opening. So just give me 1 second, and we can get started. I'm just trying to load the fewer notes I have. So just bear with me while I do that. Awesome. few things, right, before even we get started, that I want to lay down the foundation on. A few things that are like kind of done, which is, and feel free to chime in. Uh, I think one thing is done is that the conversation is the new interface. Everybody okay with that? Whether you do chat or you talk, I will just create a talking machine, right? Is that the new interface? We are no more dealing with forms, thanks to like the world we live in. No more forms, no more set of questions that you need to keep answering or prompts. People are, you have seen like how uh, search is evolving, and search was always this chat based, but now you're looking at the apps and you're seeing like each app is like trying to talk, you can talk to that app, which is, hey, you, while you are doing it, there is a right swipe that comes even in Excel. Even the complex things, like if you're trying to configure workloads for your cloud, you can right swipe and ask the questions and get your answers and copy paste stuff. You can say summarize for me, even like button clicks on that. So are we on same page? Second, what we learned in 2023 is that this use case where you augment workers, or I would say creative workers or most expensive workers, with information that is grounded in their own domain or the problem they are trying to solve, is continue to evolve and produce money. True? False? Anybody disagree, just raise your hand. We can discuss it. Okay, that's true. What next in this one? What's coming next in this one? One thing more is like, can you provide them data when they need it at their fingertips? I have seen some instances of that. It's like, hey, when I'm making this call, right now we are augmenting things in their world. So if I'm a new uh, joinee, you can just onboard me faster by dumping all the documents that my team has written before, so I can just ask questions rather than reading 100 things. So that's one. And second is, how can you provide data when I ask it? Rather than me going to a dashboard, can I just, when I'm trying to create a report, can I just say, hey, give me 5 years of analysis of this? Oh, stop. Actually, give me 5 years analysis of this. Oh, stop. Can you give me 1 year analysis of this particular thing? Can we give that kind of data and chart? That's possible. And you are already seeing that, you're already seeing this in some apps, but I think that also is a grown or killer use case. So a conversation based agent which can augment knowledge workers today. Another thing that is coming is, I think, this idea of creating or simulations that we are touching upon this year, but I think next 6 months to a year, you will see a lot of those. When I say simulation, you can think of creation of virtual worlds or simulation of medical through how AlphaFold is a good example. I kept talking about it in the course and otherwise. AlphaFold 3, now you can simulate drug discovery across many things. So that's another thing that's coming and evolving. So you can simulate now with much more granularity, or simulate much more lesser in cost, higher in accuracy. This is something we just enabled actually. If you look at like what Sora is capable of, and finally we have a model which you can go and try. This is the Chinese company which published it. So that's like just creating a new way of creating worlds. And imagine like what metaverse was trying to get to in 2021. I think if somebody starts in 2023, it can be done with 100x less cost and 100x more fidelity or accuracy. So that's the new thing. That's, so these one already happened last year, and this time it's coming or getting into your hands to play with and making money for you. This is something that's happening and already coming out, but still, like, I have not seen a lot of like money made on it yet. But I believe this is the next big deal in Gen AI space, which you will see more and more. Harsha, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Mahesh. Can you For the conversational AI part, can I get some valuable insights about the user experience and customer experience aspects for conversational AI interface? What does it really mean? How is it unique and different? And as a experienced AI product leader, what do you take into account when you figure in customer experience and user experience aspects for AI products? And the second thing is, this is just a yes or no question. The digital twin simulation, right? You touched upon the AI simulation part. Does the digital twins, does it fall under the simulation aspect? Just yes or no?
Yes. The answer is yes. But if you see it, like, since when we are trying to create these digital twins and how far they have gone, means like 7 years we are trying to create digital twins, and you have seen Nvidia has proven it, and Microsoft has spent. I worked on like IoT digital twins in 2018, but trying to bring an actually digital twin is so expensive to market. But now I believe personally, with what kind of simulations I have seen and how they can represent the physical world with just a prompt. So going from prompt to text, prompt to picture, prompt to video, prompt to simulation. That's the next frontier I'm going after, that I can actually simulate the world based on my prompts rather than putting a lot of information about how my factory works and then tweaking it and then putting like 20 engineers. That's a hard part of simulation. So the answer is yes. And has there for years. Yes. So Ankit, please want to chime in. We can have a discussion forum today. I know like Shilan will kill me after this, but we can have a little bit more discussion today because the session is like that. But that's the idea. You asked for conversation, right? And me as like leader and all, I'm more like your friend Harsha, and you know more than me most of the times. So I want to just set that up. But let me tell you what I meant. I think it's a good double click that you want to have, or I want to. So conversation is normal, right? We always had conversations. If you talk about chatbots, the search interface was always there. But this idea, we never had conversations. It was a way to input information. So I am saying what I meant by conversation is we are going from input to having conversations with machines. So look at the world where you just go and say, hey, I want this search, and somebody responds, and then nothing happens. But now something happens, right? You go and you ask for a search, and then you say, no, 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 I'm not asking for this. Hey, rewrite this with this. Hey, but give me this. Like the example I was taking for this data example, that's a conversation. First, I write something. Then I say, hey, can you rewrite it in my format, make the grammar correct, make it more assertive, and maybe apply all the principles of writing well, right? It does that. And then I say, oh, sorry, wait a minute. Can you insert in column number 3 a chart which describes this? Can you put a pyramid on line this? And that comes back and says, I can't do it. Sorry, I can't put a pyramid because my capabilities are limited. Then I say, okay, great. Why don't you write code? You see, that's a conversation. This is the first time you have intelligence on the other side, which can actually have a conversations. We know there are limitations on that intelligence, but the capability to have conversation is a new user interface. So you need not to design with a stubborn UI. You might have like dynamic UIs which adapt to the user. That's one way. Or maybe you need to rethink all your critical user journeys with multi-turn conversations. So coming back to the contract examples that I give, generally what happens is you upload a contract and I will show you a table which shows like what is there in the contract. Maybe I can show you some text, but maybe I will not show you any of that. Maybe you upload the contract and I say, hey, I got the contract. Here are a few things I learned. There are 3 things I learned. What else you want from me? And you can say, hey, can you compare me with this to this? And then I compare it. And then I say, maybe you want to have 3 more things. And then you say, but this is wrong. And then I say, oh, sorry, I made it wrong. My confidence was this when I got it. Do you want to change it? And do you want me to learn it? And now I'm just collecting data. I'm fine tuning in the night. And when I'm done, I just say, hey, actually, I have put my wheels on motion. I will let you know when they stop. By the time while my wheels are in motion while I'm learning, actually, I can also talk back to you. So you see that, right? That's a new way of writing your critical user journeys and defining on each step how you communicate to your customers, which was mostly limited by the UX you can build upfront for them. But now it's changing. It's changing with this conversation aspect. So that is the new aspect I was trying to bring in year 2023, that you need to think, and 2024 you need to continue, and 2020. So these are like kind of already here, and I want to see you making money on it. But this is the one that I want you to know that it's coming. And the ultimate goal, once you have simulations for us, is actually building robots. So now, okay, these machines are quite dumb. Like, I'm not like super believer that we have AGI or we have any intelligence per se. I think they have reasoning capabilities, and we have to have need a breakthrough. But how can we put the existing things into robotics? Because if I can have conversations, I can learn, adapt, and move. If I can move, even with the current capabilities, if I can have a toy which can move and can take my 3-year-old can hold his hand and I can trust it, and it can take it to his room and be there with him, tell him a lullaby, and actually have interactions with him while he's trying to sleep, and put him to sleep, like, that would be amazing. And I think that's where the next frontier is. There's a lot of problems on the robotics side to solve here, but the intelligence side is solved first, which we never thought. I never thought, at least. I thought the hard problem is intelligence, but I think now the hard problem is actually making these things move in the uh, kind of dimension we want them to. But that's where a lot of investment should go. And I think that's where I'm not seeing the last one to come into picture next year. That's my 2 to 4 year bet. But simulation is my next year bet. And I think this is already here. So these two you should think right away. Take it to your products. This one, start planning for it in your yearly plannings. And this one should be ready for you while you do this planning. So that's how the landscape is. I just wanted to lay down the context today before we go into having discussion of how or what you want in this new world, if that makes sense.
So one quick follow-up.
First Mahesh and then Harsha, if that's okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Harsha. So just putting a larger perspective in here, are we also thinking in more in terms of where the AI world is more in terms of the mainframes, and we finally have to get to the PC era? Because the problem with LLMs is like they are there, but using it one for a non expert is difficult. Second is the latency problems. Third is the memory problem. So while we have that capability, I think it's still not there for people to use. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I don't think next year is going to change a lot. So I'm just talking timeframes. First of all, I agree with you, Mahesh, that it has to be distributed. Currently, the AI is centralized. At least the intelligence piece of AI is centralized. Like there is a model running in some data center consuming almost gazillions of power and energy to give you that single answer, which, by the way, consumes the same amount of power it takes you to turn on a light bulb for almost a day. So you can turn an LED for a day and ask a query to ChatGPT. That's the kind of energy we are discussing. So that's the world we live in, which Mahesh was talking about as mainframes to PC era. But then we also have smaller compute, which is very widely distributed across all our devices, and we charge them. They are very much optimized on battery. We are already spending that. How can these models reach from here to here? That we need to figure out. But I think the exciting part for product manager, or where the industry will push itself, uh, will continue to push, is still we have to solve for intelligence. So those two scenarios, like conversation and augmenting knowledge workers to save them more money or make the current system more efficient. These are the two killer use cases you have to optimize in next year. So if you have to optimize these two killer use cases, where should if you have like $5 to spend, how will you distribute that? I think more will go here. $4 and $1. That's how I'm thinking. Like 80% of all the spend that people are gonna make will continue to be on the server side, because right now we don't have that intelligence. These guys are like, you are asking, right? You build your app, right, Mahesh? You are asking them to be more accurate. You are asking them to be more having guardrails. You are asking them to understand things. There's so much you have to do to bring anything to production today. So the asks are here, the demand is here. That's what driving these $4 investment. If I have $5 into this market is going to grow. But right now people are not. This grows generally with two factors. One is when the cost is a problem, when people say that, I am not, or this is not possible by energy, which is like the use case of uh, uh, an automated car. I can't just run it by the server, it will get disconnected, and then still I have to drive the car, so the compute has to be here. Those challenging, if I don't have any, till the time I can keep and solve these problems, that problem then becomes privacy, security, and all. For those use cases, we are already seeing this trend, right? This $1 is getting spent here. You can see the valuation of Apple compared to the valuation of people who are spending into the hair versus hair, right? So Nvidia would be here. Nvidia doesn't make a lot of money on chips for smaller devices. So Nvidia is here, Microsoft is here, AWS is here, Meta is here. So all these are centralized mainframes machines today. And that's what I will continue to be like that, Mahesh. That's my take. Okay, with that take, let's not talk about, we did a CEO session. I love my friend Arjun. So he came and he said, do not talk meta things. They are all bullshit. Don't worry. Don't talk about them. Don't read too much into a lot of trends. See what can you do with it, where things are, and what can you actually go build with those. So let's talk more about like what these means for you and how can you position yourself into this new evolving ecosystem, which I will paint in a second. We'll take Harsha's question.
Yes. You erased the previous content, so I'm trying to recall memory. That's fine. I just want to get your opinion as to whether this area is a good area ripe for new breakground innovation and possible work. So it's the area of reinforcement learning of robots through simulations, like trying to approximate real world scenarios for robots and having them learn through that simulation world. For example, I've seen some demos where robots learn how to run, right? You just throw it and give a real world scenario and somehow
that's what pretty much RLHF is. Yes.
Yeah. I just want to know, what do you think about that? Is that an area of ripe for
so I think all these 3-4 areas we discussed, it depends upon how much time you have. One is what you aspire to be and what is you're demanded right now. You are not demanded to solve RLHF for robots right now. Right now, I want you to be super efficient in bringing. We'll discuss it. So park your question, but yes, learn about it. But I won't. This is my Sunday reading. This is not my daily problem to solve. That's my short answer, Harsha. Like if I want to be super practical, because there's not a lot of jobs you will see here. There's not a lot of spend you will see here. This will represent the next 10 to 15, next 10 to 20% investor money will go here. A lot of small research needs to happen. We have to solve a lot of problems with lesser product managers per se. If I'm a researcher, I will go here. If I'm a product manager, I might not recommend you to spend or like learn about it. It's coming, but before that, let's work on something that you can do today. There's a lot what you have the tools you can practice. So I'm looking at 3 tenants when I'm giving these advices, by the way, because some people will just quote me and I love people when they quote me. But the idea is this, right? What can you do today in your own domain without asking a big company to fund you? If that's one tenant I have. The second tenant I have is, can you be more productive today in next 6 months for yourself or for company that you're working for or company that you want to work for? With these 2 tenants, I'm looking at things today, because today I want to position you or myself into GenAI ecosystem rightly. Chitali, go ahead, and then I won't take any questions for next 20 minutes.
Yes, we need to get to the key topic.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead, Chitali.
Yeah, two things, Mahesh. So one thing is, I think a lot of companies are very worried that it is changing so dynamically that if they're productionizing something with some models or some APIs, by the time it is there with the customers, some new APIs better models and things are coming. That is one of this dynamic pace companies are struggling to keep pace with. And the second thing is the regulations and governance piece. Though everybody has learned now responsible AI or ethics and everything, but then when they are putting it into their domain, there is a big gray area. Like people are struggling a lot. They do not know where to get into and what to search and what to obey.
Yeah,
That's what I
these are
hear.
really good. We'll discuss them as we go through. So these are the two ones I want to cover. But the framework I'm using today, yeah, and Chitali, I will come to you on that one. Hopefully it will get covered and then we'll discuss when we cover it. I just wrote it for you.
Sure,
Sounds
thank you.
good? Awesome. So let's discuss like what's happening in the ecosystem. So three things that are happening in ecosystem are, one is people are building GenAI. GenAI is to AGI, right? So this is the next frontier that companies are working on. Some companies are OpenAI. Keep saying the names, please. OpenAI, Anthropic. Can I say Meta? Anybody else? Maybe this the guy is socially something. He's
Ability.
one company to build the
Super,
most
super safe,
super intelligence, super secure intelligence. Is it
safe intelligence, something like that.
super safe intelligence? Okay, so these are the companies that are building. Then we have companies which are building AI tools to empower these, right? Empower these companies for the infra. So they are selling them infrastructure as a service, but also building tools for what I will write next. They are building tools, providing them the infrastructure to train or build their models. So think of all the cloud providers here: GCP, AWS, Databricks, Snowflakes of the world. And there are new companies here which are trying to give you tools. Like there is guardrails.ai for what Chaitali talked about, because everybody has realized that's a problem and people are struggling. So there are companies which are specifically looking to solve most common platform and offer platform as a service here.
Yeah,
And
then there is the Arise.ai observability of the LLMs.
correct, arise.ai, and there are many, right? Because every day a lot of companies open here. And then third ecosystem that we are dealing with in AI is agentic companies, right? So these are agentic workflow they are building. So these are the companies which are saying, hey, actually I can build an agent for you. We talk to Humanic. Can anybody give me an example? Humanic, what Humanic does is Humanic says that, hey, you have your marketing, I will take care of your marketing. I have an AI agent which does marketing for you. And then they have a workflow and you set it up, and then that workflow figures out when to send your emails, who to send your emails, what time to send those emails, what is the conversion rate, and iterate on those emails to get you higher conversion rate. And all that you can just set it up like what you want. More and more companies are trying to get into this. This is pretty much everything that's getting funded for last 1.5 years into this GenAI space. So if you look at YC companies, somebody's building a financial agent which does a due diligence. Somebody building a support agent.
Devin.ai.
Yeah, so Devin.ai is a generic agent which basically can code for you. So that's Devin.ai. So these are the other ones. And what these are providing is they're providing these guys infrastructure and these guys platform. So they are, if these are, this is the gold, these are the shovels, and these are like the real people who are looking for gold. Make sense? Same page? Okay, let's move to this one. So this is like the total platform, total ecosystem that we live in today. You can broadly classify all the companies that you're dealing with or you read about into any of these three buckets. Obviously, we can cut more buckets, but I read in a research or somebody in my cohort told me most of the things you people teach me that Mahesh restrict to three. So I'm restricting to three today. Obviously, we can cut it more ways, but let's look at the first one, right? Microsoft AutoGen is out. Yes. So now, what is the problems these people are solving? What are the problems they are having, right? So they are solving for one, they want the fastest models. So the current model are slow. They're trying to make them fast. They're trying to get to the next breakthrough to get to AGI. They are getting into multimodality, trying to make not only just text or picture, but getting into video. Anything else these people are going to solve? Okay, let's restrict with 3 today. So today we'll follow the rule of 3 because I have a lot to talk about. So these are the 3 problems they are solving. What are the challenges they have in solving these 3 problems? So these are the problems they are going after, but what are their problems when they go and solve for these? One is they can't find enough researchers, which helps them. That's the they go and try to look after. Second is, so far there is nothing beyond transformers in research space, which can give you, we are looking at different ways to attention, but there are still how to take different kind of embeddings like visual embeddings and text embeddings and create multi-embedding systems which solves for intelligence. That is an open problem. So they want to have researchers which solves for AGI. Second is they're trying to optimize the hardware they have, and they don't know their efficiency of the hardware they have to train is still in 50 to 60% is great, but that's where they stand. So they have huge cost and they are trying to optimize cost by building tools or infrastructure for themselves, not for anybody else. They're ready to use all the ML ops in the world, but they are building their own tooling. So a lot of spend on AI infrastructure. So if you go look inside these companies, you will find them spending a lot of time solving for those things. And then third is the responsible aspect, which Chaitali was touching on, that they need to make sure that whatever they are building is responsible and safe, because they are the most scrutinized because they are leading the way. And if they can't build something safe and responsible, it is just inviting a lot of problems. So these are the 3 major areas they are struggling or they are solving for themselves. And if you go inside these companies, first they are looking for the next architecture. This is where they are spending most of their time. How can they do it faster? By building the AI tools. And third is they're looking for responsible AI. They are finding ways, new architectures, new ways to be responsible, even setting really good processes which can help them catch things which makes them unresponsible, is where they need to spend most of their time. Because you've seen few companies have released large models and day one somebody found to break them, and that just bring very less positive sentiment, but brought a lot of negative sentiment and negative pace to them. So as a product manager, what are they looking for? If that's the landscape, right? If this is the landscape, in these companies, if you want to apply, or if you want to get a job, or if you want to contribute, or if you want to build a company, at least you need to show experiences where you have worked on the largest model. Sometime in your career, you have built a model, you have played with that model or something on that field. You are an expert in responsible AI field. You have published papers. You know more than anybody here the challenges, what exists, what doesn't exist, what works, what doesn't works. And third thing, because their revenue model is still helping others to build on their APIs, so they sell their models to cloud providers, and actually Azure makes money for OpenAI or AWS makes money for Anthropic. They are looking for a product manager which helps them take these models and build these relationships for generating revenue. So either you are techie or you are awesome in building 0 to 1 API based businesses, then that's it, right? So that's the skills, or that's the world they are living in. There's not a lot of PM jobs here, to be very honest. I have not seen a lot of PM jobs they are opening. And even they open one job, which doesn't look like you're going to change the world. It mostly looks like you're going to execute on somebody else's problems. And researchers are leading the way. Researchers write the strategy, or they come up with the next big thing. And you are asked to build use cases around that. Or mostly they are trying to sell it also while they build it. And you are trying to build later part of the business here. So either you are doing a lot of program management, or you are trying to take a technology and sell it to other commercial partnerships. These are the two major things where I've seen them hiring. I want to stop here, see if I'm resonating. Does that make sense?
I think it's good. Keep going.
Pin drop silence. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what I wanted sometimes. Okay, I hate it, by the way. So next time, next one I want to hear a lot from you. I think next is building AI tools.
We'll have many questions, but keeping the mouth shut.
Yeah, just wait for this one, I think, and thank you. So this one is very good because this is where a lot of like attention is. So same ways, what problems they are trying to solve, what are their strength. So their strength, problem, and like what problem they are solving and what are their problems that they are looking to hire talent for. So their strength is they have a huge infrastructure play. Like if you look at both Meta, AWS, SageMaker, anybody who is trying to get into this business, they have huge advantage in infrastructure. You can't build anything without them. They have the tooling, they have the developers, they say they have that space. They are huge enterprise engines. Anything they build can reach masses in like month scale, while if you want to compete with them, your scale is in years. In theirs, it's months to week scale. So they have an enterprise market. Then they have this idea of going into their own AI things because they are learning into AI. So they are building either small models, like in Meta's example, Meta is saying, I'm going to build Meta.ai, now AGI also. So while offering it for their services, they have the largest infrastructure. The developers build on their platform, which is Facebook's of the world. And then you have, in Microsoft case, at least, Facebook is a B2C, but B2B, they have enterprise and now they have built AI on top of it as a service. So they are offering their models as well as their APIs, and that's an additional revenue. So these are their strength. The problem they are trying to solve is what Chitali was talking about. The product manager in these roles basically does that, what she was doing, which is look for what are the most common things that these are working on finding out. If you're a PM here, you're trying to find out what is the most common thing, right? What is the most common problems everybody's having building AI based workflows. So identifying them. So prompt flow, autogen, way to do RAG with no code, all those, we discuss those like that conversation, and hopefully they might give you something on UX soon. So they are looking at that, those, and say how to bring or build these apps faster, or how to bring these large models to life that augments uh, knowledge workers faster is the first area that they go and build tools for. Second, they try to go from code to low code to no code tools. So you will see a lot of UI based things that they're enabling now and then, where you can drag and drop or provide few instructions in English and your app is published. First, you can test your app. And once you have done testing evaluation, they also give you inbuilt metrics like relevance, helpfulness, all that. So how to do evals, how to provide guardrails just as an API. This is everything that Chitali was talking about and more is what they go and try to solve right away. What they are looking for, what is their problems? First, they don't know what is going to stick. So they are throwing a lot of darts out there and they want PMs who can help them see or who know a lot about the ecosystem and can help them go and execute. Second is they're looking for execution is their challenge. A lot of team are trying to solve the same problem. Who should solve it with what capability and what user experience and fast, because they are going through a churn as well. They have older teams which do things in an older way. These are large companies and they have to pivot to this new thing and iterate really fast because it's highly competitive market. So that's one of the problems they face. And the next one they face is differentiation. There's no uniqueness left for them. Like if they build a prompt flow, a way to do prompts based workflows and deploy them with no code, which LangChain did in the beginning. But now if Microsoft does it, AWS, GCP, or anybody in the world will just copy it. And there is no clear differentiation because you're building for the same thing. And if you cut it like this, there is no like real moat of anything that you build in this business today. And yeah, I think that's third thing I want to say is making actually making these apps to work, which they try to offer to the lower one, like the agentic workflows, which we talked about. Building those real apps which give real user real benefits is still very hard. We have challenges on guardrails don't work. These models don't provide accurate information. The model are really hard to predict, hard to validate. All these they face day one, and they will continue to solve these problems. And most of them are not even in their hand because the model is getting provided by somebody else. And how the customer use it, they're not that close to that. So that's where I want to stop. But if that's the ecosystem of these AI tools companies, which are hiring, by the way, and in my own experience, I have seen these teams grow 3x in last 6 months. So X to 3x they have gone in last 6 months just in AI. So if you are an AI tooling company or if you are an AI tool PM, your team should have grown from here to here plus, right? So a lot of growth in this area, a lot of hiring in this area. But what are they looking for? They're looking if you have built anytime no code to low code tools. Obviously, everybody's looking for AI basics, right? So I won't write it. That's a request for everybody. Like you need to know AI, but not like researcher level AI. Here you need to at least use the AI tool in your enterprise workflow or your consumer workflows, and you have built one feature in your lifetime which was AI based. So that's what they are looking for. Another thing they are looking for is they are getting into different domains. Like you have seen healthcare models come out of GCP, you have seen enterprise or ERP retail based model come out of Microsoft. So they have realized that the real moat is getting into these domains. So if you have been in these domains, then you can go and highlight that in your experiences. And last thing, or everywhere, they're looking for people who understand AI and its limitation, which can make their product more transparent, fair, and safe, and also put their limitations up front. They want to go and show that they're providing this and understand this more than anybody else. So these are the skills that they're looking for, or you need to highlight in your CVs, or if you're building a company, these are the things that you need to worry about or hire the talent for if you're trying to start a company in AI tools business.
Yeah.
I want to stop here.
And I just want to inject here, and this is what Hamesh has gone through in a course. Obviously, you see that this is not content that you can go through in an hour. Because like I have sometimes forgot about how awesome he is and market himself. So I'm doing that. All right, back to you.
Thank you, Shilang. Yeah, so we have discussed a lot of these in detail, but I wanted to give the cohort member a chance to see it from the lens, because sometimes you are seeing it in the lens is like, hey, how can I apply what I learned? And people who have not done the course, right, also to see it in a lens that what you need to go learn. And, Chilan and me will love to join our course, but feel free to join any other course if you feel better. But these things you will need to go learn, right? Because if you don't know them, then applying more is not going to help you. It just like your CV is not ending up if you can't highlight these skills or show some experiences. If you are going for AI tools or AI researchers, and obviously it's very subjective, my own opinion. Somebody is telling you differently, or some course people are just telling you that, and I have heard those pitches also, which is I will make you an AIPM just by showing you prompt engineering and how can you write different prompts. I sometimes feel bad for people. Like because I remain on the other side. I've interviewed people and I have interviewed myself a lot. uh, I know that that doesn't work. Like that's something I don't want a PM for. I can do it myself, right? I want a PM who understands this areas really deeply, have seen the challenges, have actually gone and solved a no code low code thing in any domain, understands their domain so that they can bring the domain specific problems to table. Because I have other PMs who know AI now, but I don't understand healthcare. And if he can bring the regulatory framework, he can be in the room and also understand a lot about AI, like what training inference, what is the architectures, what is prompt engineering. All this is table stakes for these companies. But on top of that, they're looking for people who have actually gone and built these things, or at least have played deeply or give insights in their interviews. Harsha.
I just want to clarify something and cement it in my mind. So your advice is to get actual experience in building no code, low code tools in a specific domain like healthcare or retail or something, and that is going to be pretty valuable. Did I understand that correctly?
I'm saying that that's what they, one of the aspect, if you have done it in past, please highlight it. It's
Okay.
really hard for you to just sit in your house and build a no code, low code tool. If you could build that right, maybe like that's a very different kind of a persona, because most of these companies have done it. I'm just telling you, if you have it, don't hide it. If you ever, like, we do that all the time. Like if you worked in the developer, if you're worked in tooling business, you have worked in a company where you have taken the developer velocity from X to X minus something, and you might have done it through code or whatever. Please highlight those. They are not only looking for AI, they are also looking for that experience, because that's one of the problem they need to solve. They need to bring the barrier to entry for AI apps from X to X minus something, and they're looking for people who have done it in any other domain also. So I'm just trying to bring that to life, Harsha. Mahesh.
Low code to no code. So it implies, or your point is essentially it helps lower the barrier. But is there a reason why there is that it would be much more a focal point than getting new ideas or building new things that were not possible with AI? And I mean, it's because it's more of like an operational thing, right? I mean, that's
But,
not where
but
you
you
want
see,
to
right, where they're playing,
maximize.
Mahesh. I agree with you. But you need to see where they are playing. They are saying we will provide you tools. You will go and solve that. So that's the third segue into what those are different companies that are looking for those problems. These are saying, hey, we are here to provide you all the compute in the world, and we are building a platform which will make it easy for others to build apps or solve for the cases which were not possible before but now possible for AI. But we are not that company. We have 2 or 3 apps where we will go do it, and we'll hire for that. But if I'm hiring for the AI tools layer, which is for AI services or the new OpenAI or the new Anthropic teams or Bedrock teams, I am looking for a very different persona. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like building shovels instead of
Correct.
go
And if
digging
I'm building
gold.
shovels, I am looking for the guy who can make a dumb shovel into a sharp shovel, right? And if he has done it in any domain, I can learn that from him, right? So, and I really am not looking for somebody who knows how to make the best where the gold is, right? That's the third one. So I will go to the third one, which is where, so every job that get created, one job in AGI. So one job in AGI creates at least 100 job in tooling. So if you have one PM job here, you should expect 100 plus jobs in AI tools, because every time these guys start making progress, or if they push something else, like if you see this fast model came out, the both of them, like Sonnet and the GPT-4o, now they are saying, "Hey, actually you can talk to this," because earlier it was it was not so slow that if tell it to do something by voice, by the time it responded I would have got a drink or something. But now they made it fast, so they hire a PM maybe to market that API. But imagine now how many tools I need to build. So now I have to build the voice interface, the front of that voice interface. How can I build dynamic UX, which me and Harsha was talking earlier? And now I have to make the UX part first time adaptable to the whole voice based system, and then I have to provide APIs which converts voice, and respond in voice. And that should be just seamless as no code or a button or a drop. So now I see more and more use cases that will come up, and then I will hire for different verticals. So I need more for one feature they build and make it working or release. I need 100, I see 100 possibilities. And then other 100 for every job these people produce. For one engineer here, there are 100 other PMs or innovations or new companies, CEOs, just single CEOs who just think they have a company in them grows. So each job here is like you are looking at 10K jobs that actually get created because one here is 10K. So you can think of this as like this. Does that make sense? If they had a 1 PM job, that's how the business is growing. Okay. So now look at these guys, because that's where we want to play, because that's where maximum opportunities are and the barrier to entry is lowest. So agentic workflows. That's where I would say 10 billion is going every quarter in funding since we reached the point of March 2023 onwards. Most of that money is going into these companies which are trying to say we can actually solve one problem end to end, and you will not we will take care of how human give feedback in this. So I would put co-pilots here also. So agentic workflows, I will divide them into two. One is assist use case, and one is the full automation use case, right? So assist is put all the co-pilots, the Geminis, the Geminis or Amazon queues of the world here, and also put automation size, the Devin we talked about. I will keep saying Humanic because Arjun just came to our show. Okay, I will take Ankit and then Vivek.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Mahesh, in your opinion, which jobs among these are paying the highest? I know the research is one way, but
Obviously,
is
yeah.
tooling?
So
Is
that's
it
the
tooling?
highest. Then AI tools. Then these are the ones.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So it's like more demand. I can't just pay that much. You're
Got
looking million plus in AGI.
Correct.
You're looking 500K plus in tools.
Okay, thank you.
And then you have this spectrum of like, I think they can also hire, but I don't think PM is their number one problem to solve. So they are not paying a lot because they need a lot of PMs to go solve or hire, because they are trying to build a lot of customers. So if they try paying million to PMs, it's hard for them to justify that investment, because it's just numbers versus what we are going after.
Thank you.
Vivek.
I've
Easy.
used some of the AI tools like Prompt Flow, for instance.
Mhm.
In my opinion, they don't really add a ton of value. I was just trying to understand how the agentic workflows would alter the AI tooling space.
Yeah. So I think this is a good question, Vivek. So Vivek is saying prompt flow doesn't. Prompt flow is a tool by Azure, which basically allows you to create end-to-end workflows by drag and drop. So you can drag and write your prompt and then connect it to all the models they offer. And then you can say guardrail and call their AI services and click a button and say deploy. So you need not to write code today. If you want to do the same without the prompt flow, then you have to go and write code, take OpenAI APIs and write them in Python, which is also not that hard, but still you need to write code, run it, test it. But here, if you drag drop and if it doesn't work, you can file a bug and they will take care. So that's the product Vivek talked about. He's saying it doesn't add any value. It doesn't add any value for Vivek because Vivek knows how to code, but it does add any lot of value for people who are trying to build their first MVP in agentic workflow and test it and play and learn, right? So that's one. But that's the exact problem they were trying to solve at that point. So I agree with Vivek that it doesn't add a lot of value or it is not a game changer. But that's the problem they saw like 6 months ago. 6 months ago, the problem they were talking to developers and developers were saying, it's really hard to build the first MVP. And beyond MVP, yes, I agree that you need more than prompt flow because you will want to own the code and you have to write it anyways. So they solve for that problem. Once they solve for that problem, maybe the prompt flow will go away once we have agents, but maybe the prompt flow will evolve to to give you no code experience of an agentic workflow. So that's how I was thinking, Vivek. Also, when you think about these agents, maybe what you're saying is that maybe we don't need everybody to go and build their own AI app. Maybe there are 100 companies which have built 100 agents who do the top 100 jobs very well. And now people just use them. That's a world. And in that case, all what we are building with prompt flow or tooling or all this will be obsolete in year to 2 years time. Vivek, does that answer your question? Is that where you were going?
Yeah,
I'm not
thanks.
sure. Vivek is kind to me today. Okay, I have 5 minutes. Harsha, can you park your question? I just want to land what you look for. If that's okay, Harsha. Harsha gave me permission today. He's like, okay, go ahead. Okay. So what is their strength, right? So we talked about the same things. Okay, so this is our target, right? So what are their strengths? What are the problems or what they are working on and what they're looking for? So these are their strength is one is they know the domain more than anybody else. These are the lawyers of the world. These are the doctors of the world, which new technology, but trying to go and say, this is my time to actually go and build something or start a company. Or these are the companies which already had a tool, like I had GCP or I had Office, and I can say now there's a new way to use Office and I'm going to make it super awesome. So domain or expertise to solve a particular domain problem or mind share, that's what their strength is. The next strength they possess is that they have executed very well. These are the CEOs or people who have gone to any field and done 0 to 1 and knows how to sell. So they can choose any use case which is ripe for change, but they can execute faster than anybody because somebody pointed it. It's super competitive. Everybody is looking at these. But their strength is they can execute, and they have already taken a lead in last 1 year into that specific domain, whatever they choose. And last, but like tech expertise, execution, and ability to sell, right? Which is like, I don't know. But there's a lot of selling here. And that's why you need a lot of talent, which matches this kind of persona or these kind of strength. And these are the strength which directly correlates to the PM strength, right? You are supposed to know the most in your domain. You are supposed to execute, and you're supposed to grow your business. So that's where they are coming from. Compared to the AGI ones, where they have researchers, they know more than they want infrastructure. These are different. If these are different, what problems they are having? One is just differentiating from competition is what they continue to evolve and learn. Whatever they do, their competition does it next day, or they're already behind their competition. They're trying to play a catch-up game. They are creating CUCs. They are creating different critical user journeys for their customers and trying to find which one should we go after. They have to be broad. At the same time, they have to focus somewhere for revenue. They want to be broad for where they get a lot of signals, a lot of data. So they launch something broad, but they want to continuously go and iterate on this problem. Where should we focus? In this, can we differentiate? How can we give an awesome experience for this particular area of this field? Again, they iterate a lot on user experience. They do a lot of user experience studies to figure out how can they use the new way of doing things faster, better, and in a way that scales. If these are the strength, that's the problem they are solving. That's the things they are working on. What are the problems they face? The problems they face is, number one is they have a hard time building anything. Like, these are not the guys who are researchers. Building an end-to-end experience and shipping it with quality where things don't go haywire and people can trust with high accuracy. Accuracy needs to be high, cost of needs to be low, and there has to be a lot of value in the system. In these three metrics, they continue to have tension and continue to build. Second is pricing their product. They are paying a lot, or right now, initially they are like free because a lot of free money in the system. But how to price this product that it makes sense today, not only today, but 10 years down the line, 5-10 months down the line, because a lot of things are changing dynamically, and they have to spend a lot of time figuring out what's the right strategy for pricing the product. If I give a freemium, how much should I give freemium? Talk to anybody who's building agentic app and see most of them have a freemium model. But how should have you have a conversion? Things fall after premium for them. Sorry, freemium. So freemium to conversion into uh, a real paid customer is a continuous challenge that they go through. Again, I make it here, but actually differentiating on technology, what stack to use, because RAG is common, AI model is everywhere. What else can I do which brings me more accuracy and gives me cost advantage? They continuously iterate and trying to look for this. So these are the main three challenges for this world. If these are the three main challenges, what are they looking for in a PM, or what an investor is looking for in a founder? If these are the three things that they need to go solve for. Number one, we are looking for domain expertise. Do you have domain expertise in any field? Please highlight that. Highlight it again and again that you have done that. Have you done 0 to 1? Have you taken anything in your past where you have taken a small thing which was there in the research, nobody knew will it work, but you made it working? AI or not AI, I really don't care, but please show me that. Another thing is, okay, you have domain expertise, but how you have learned a new domain expertise and actually used it to create a product out of it is another thing that I'm looking for, or anybody is looking for. And then again, I will keep saying it. Do you understand security and responsibility aspects of technology, and specifically AI technology? These are table stakes. And when I talk to you, you should be ready to work all the time. You have relentless pursuit on execution. You have done amazing work. You can walk on water in these fronts. That's pretty much all these people are looking for, because the challenges in front of them is they don't have real competitive advantage. They're looking for some work you have done in some of differentiating technologies. So we talked about knowledge graph in our cohort. We talk about caching a little bit. We'll do a couple of more sessions on other differentiating things that people are using today. So taking that, looking at how can you do these aspects which you have done in some part, which is where you're taking some things and actually make it something that sells, and then 0 to 1. With that, I will stop. That's all I needed to talk. I can stay 10 minutes more to take questions. You guys, or you folks, are very, very passionate, are very, very patient with me today, but I wanted to cover a lot. But before I go, Shilan, do you want to talk?
Yes, I do need 2 minutes. So I am getting loads of questions on the chat box. First of all, about, where can we find the recordings and everything? So guys, there we have a Slack channel for a reason. If you join our Slack channel or already part of the Slack channel, in the general channel, you can go follow the LinkedIn community page. We also have the YouTube channel tag there. So all the informations you need to find are right there. And also some of the housekeeping, like ground rules. It's like we like to optimize the sessions like for your learning. So try to ask questions related to this topic, and then save your questions to minute 30 and minute 30 in the end, because I know that in the beginning probably you don't know what questions to ask. So like at least give like the first 20 to 30 minutes to talk about it, then ask your questions. And finally, if you do not have enough time to ask your questions, that is again what is the Slack channel is for, because we monitor there for what are the future topics that you're interested to know or what you don't understand, and then you will be picked, and then we will tell you when the session is up that, oh, your question is picked, your question inspire us. So sounds good? Great.
Thank you. It's always, there's a constant pursuit, which is like we want to be super collaborative. At the same time, we want to give chances. So you will see more of like us trying to tread that carefully. But hopefully we all are like super cool. We know each other by this time. So I think everything will work out eventually for us. But we're on a path. That's the beautiful part of this journey. Okay, questions. I think agentic workflow is the coolest one. I love that because that's where you see a lot of challenges and get a chance to actually build a business. AI tools are the second coolest if you're a PM, because there you see horizontally what's happening in the industry, where should you focus, which will like give you something to go build, which will be used not today but at least 3 to 5 years time frame. And there you actually get a little bit leverage on uh, getting not selling a lot, because your platform company has a outreach. So if you want to focus on tech more and not selling, then go to AI tools, and higher it's lesser and lesser selling. If you are working for OpenAI or Anthropic, people are already anyways working for you, or super safe intelligence. People are already looking at what you're going to build, and you're not selling to everyone. Maybe you just need a couple of partners to sell to, and that's pretty much it. So you are building the relationships and making sure your contracts and everything, your ducks are mostly in line. So that's the ecosystem we live in. Hopefully I laid down what you need to highlight to be successful in these. And then we have spoken in last session where we talked about how can you actually build portfolio or projects in that area. So combine these two sessions to make yourself better than everybody else out there, or at least better than yourself. That's a better metrics to follow. Harsha.
Yes, I want to follow up on this awesome career positioning advice you gave and the areas to focus on. My specific thing is, what do you think about career opportunities and roles with companies like Accenture, Infosys? They're also reaching out for a lot of these AI and generative AI roles. For example, I learned that Accenture is one of the very few companies that is working with Devlin on an enterprise scale and actually testing it out in real environments. And they're doing AI strategy and AI governance and responsible AI things. So I just wanted to know, just get your advice on these type of companies and the possible career advancement they can provide.
No, I think you brought a very point that I kind of not targeted directly, but you're looking at AI services companies, right? So where
Consulting services.
yeah, services is
Projects.
basically all the consulting business, which is like, hey, we will come and build it for you. So we talked about the companies which are building the largest model. We talked about companies which are building tools for these models. And then we also talked about who is using these to actually serve a lot of masses right out there. But there is like this, that once we start doing these, there are companies which are working here providing services to these folks, and these folks can be people or big enterprises, right? And they will use these services companies. They will call them and say, can you implement AI for us, or we have these AI use cases, we want to get to production faster. I don't know, their model is changing, right? So they're looking for AI experience, Harsha, but I think they're looking more like a service experience before an AI experience. And you don't need more than that. Like, I think it's a good segment. We should talk about it in the ecosystem play, because that's also growing. And every job AI tools company had, you will see a lot of jobs created here, because somebody need to use those tool and do it an enterprise. That's these companies' bread and business, right? Accenture, TCS, Infi. So if they were hiring yesterday product managers, as AI becomes the new tool that, or new thing that basically general purpose technology, GPT, then they will be hiring AI services PMs, right? So they are just adding it to their uh, requirements, but they're looking mostly service things. And I think what we cover in our course, you don't need the real projects for these companies. That's my take on them. You can actually do a course and enhance your skills, and if you have the capability to write a PRD, they will hire you if you have service experience or software experience. So they don't, I would say, should be a low hanging fruit. So agentic, you need domain, and if you have done service, go to AI services companies, try to upskill yourself in the same company, apply for jobs they are hiring. And for that, just do the course, because they are looking for generalists. They are not looking for specialists. All of these people that I talked about were looking for something special. Like these people, agentic people, were looking for domain expertise. If you don't have that domain expertise, you are very less likely, or you know something very specific more than RAG or generic AI, you know knowledge graph, you have built on knowledge graphs, then they will say, oh, come here and give us that differentiation, because that allows me. So I was just talking, when I was talking, or I was thinking about this, Harsha, in my own head, I was thinking of preparing you folks with differentiations. This is a good category, lot of jobs here, but I think this is just, if you do the course, it's a generic category, and you need not to write a lot, differentiate it, or learn or do projects in that area to do something else, because it's hard to do services project, right? You have to open a consulting firm for that. And then also they don't want you, they want somebody who can process, like more program managers, right, which can run the job, get the job done. Any other questions? Any other questions from the chat? If I missed, I have gone through, people have resolved their questions already. That's the idea of community. I think most of you are so knowledgeable.
And drop your questions in the Slack channel if you have any after, okay?
Yeah, Shilan, really want the Slack channel to be a thing. By the way, I will check that channel going forward. I was just a little tied up with a lot of cohort stuff going on, but that's the channel you will see me more and more. So please put your questions. We'll start updating a lot of things. We have a lot of things coming along. I think first time I will have a lot of people in cohort that will come and talk about the stuff they have worked on. And most of them are very knowledgeable, know their domains, and are expert in their fields. So I'm really looking forward for us to grow together, and really looking forward to next Saturday then.
Okay.
Bye, team.